Hello, hello. What is happening? Mr. Tails is back finally with a cancer update video. I know it's been a few weeks now, but there hasn't been too many crazy events between the last video and now, other than a few minor things. But I just had my 4th round of chemo this last Thursday. Today is Wednesday, so it's been 6 days now. The last 2 rounds have been relatively similar as far as how I felt afterwards. So round 3 and this last round 4 were administered, and I'm continuing to work. I work from home, so luckily I'm able to work still. But the day after chemo, which is Fridays, I feel pretty good actually. I'm able to work half day. I force myself just to work half day on Fridays, that way, because in the afternoons I usually take a nap. I kind of start to get a little drowsy and I want to get a nap in, because it's day 2 and 3 that usually kick in decently hard as far as fatigue and stomach. Like I mentioned in my last videos, it affects my stomach really more than anything else, I think, because I don't know, I think my stomach's always been sensitive throughout my whole life. It's just, I've even had surgery in the past. I had a ulcer in my small intestines for I don't know what reason. They thought I had Crohn's disease, but it didn't turn out to be that. This is like back when I was in high school. They found an ulcer in my small intestine and had to remove 6 inches of my intestine, and that was that. They thought I had Crohn's, but Crohn's is reoccurring. I haven't had any symptoms since, but with certain foods and stuff, my stomach's always been pretty sensitive. So it doesn't surprise me that, this chemo would affect my stomach as well. But it's more of that pit feeling. Oh, sorry there about the mic. It got a little pit feeling in my stomach where it's kind of like a nauseous feeling. I mean, obviously with chemo, one of the side effects is nauseousness. You're going to feel nauseated. But I do feel that, but at the same time, I don't feel like I'm actually going to throw up. The first round, throw the first round out, because first round didn't know what was happening. My body was in complete shock from the test before we started chemo. Yeah, I threw up a couple times from the first round, but I haven't thrown up since. Yeah, it makes me a little nauseated. However, I don't feel like I'm going to throw up. It's more like, and after the last 2 rounds, I've kind of figuring it out what's happening. The chemo is kind of like the tests I had before my first round. I had, the port put in, obviously. I had the bone marrow biopsy done, and for those 2 procedures, I had to have sedation. And the sedation, I'm pretty sure, affected my stomach as far as its function. It slowed it down quite a bit. I think I mentioned that in my prior videos. And the chemo is doing the same thing. The last 2 rounds, I've noticed it's been pretty similar to the last 2 rounds. The chemo kind of slows everything down with my bowels, and I wouldn't say it's constipating me, but it's slowing it down to where if you didn't eat the right foods or take like stool softeners, I could see how someone could get constipated. But this last round, as a precaution, I've only took 1 anti-nausea medicine, or medication, or just 1 pill. I didn't feel like I was going to throw up, so I tried not to take any. But with the pit in my stomach, I think part of the problem is that things just aren't flowing as they normally would. Because of the chemo, obviously, it's slowing it down, and I think that's prolonging the pit feeling in my stomach. I think it's making it last longer. So for me, these last two rounds, rounds 3 and 4, it's taken about 6 to 7 days for me to actually feel like normal again in my stomach. I'm still eating normal. It's just a blah feeling. That's probably the biggest side effect for me. I noticed as well too that days 2 and 3, I really get dehydrated from the chemo. So you have to really be on top of your hydration. You got to drink a lot of water. Because I noticed I woke up in the middle of the night a couple times feeling super stiff. And when I go to the bathroom, you know, that dehydrated look, color in your pee, it's super orange, super yellow. Even with drinking just like the normal amounts of water that I usually do, it's a lot more orangish than it would be if I wasn't taking chemo. So I've noticed that. And so probably those two things, the pit in my stomach and feeling dehydrated for 2 days, those are the biggest side effects for me. Other than that, it's actually not been too bad. And it's funny, I'm wearing my hat. I actually was going to review. So a couple weeks ago, my hair started to fall out just a little bit. And, you know, taking showers every day, you dry yourself off and stuff with your towel, but the little hairs would get on my face, and I was just like, this is kind of annoying. You know, I got hairs all, you know, not a bunch, but just like a little bit of hairs on my face. I'm like, I gotta wipe it off. I'm like, this is dumb. My hair's short already. Let's just shave it off. So I shaved it off a couple weeks ago. And this isn't my hair falling out. This is me shaving my head just with razors. My mom just did it, I think 2 to 3 weeks ago for the first time. Like right after my last video, we shaved my head, or my mom did. And it's continuing to grow back still, so I actually just shaved it again today. So that's that. I don't know, it's still growing back, so I don't know when I'm actually going to notice that I'm going bald, or I think I'm starting to a little bit. But I mean, I still got hair on my face, I still got hair everywhere else, and I've had 4 rounds of chemo. Not too bad, I guess. I don't know, I think every person's probably be a little different, but so anyway, there's that. I guess the status update, I think I mentioned in my last video, after round 4, my oncologist wanted to do another round of tests to see how, well, the PET scan obviously will show where the cancer is. He wanted to do another PET scan, he wanted to do another echo, and he wanted to do another pulmonary function test to see how my lung function's doing after the 4 rounds. Because like I said in my last video, he wants to drop the B drug, because the B drug can affect your lung function. And with me having asthma, he wanted to possibly drop it altogether, depending on how the cancer has responded to the chemo. And like I said before, I don't feel any lumps in here anymore, and I think he's expecting the cancer to have subsided quite a bit. So we're hoping, we're crossing our fingers. The PET scan is actually tomorrow, and then we're going out of town. Me and the fam are going out of town this weekend, so I don't know if they're gonna call me with the results, or if we're just gonna hear next week before my 5th round of chemo what the results are, but we'll hear soon enough. So I actually have the PET scan tomorrow, and I have the echo cardiogram tomorrow. And the only reason they want to do the echo, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, I think I did, there was a little fluid around my heart, a teeny bit. They called it trivial, and it's not something to be worried about, but considering there was a little teeny bit of fluid around my heart, and I don't know what they call that, there's a sac around your heart that protects your heart, I don't know, there's a little fluid in there. Considering that was there before, they want to check that again, just that area. They don't need to test the heart functions. Everything looked good as far as my heart is concerned. They just want to check the fluid around my heart. So that is tomorrow after my PET scan as well. So so that's where we're at today. And like I said, I've done 4 rounds of chemo, 12 projected. Don't know yet about radiation. I think it's too early to tell, but I think the PET scan will reveal quite a bit as far as moving forward, what we need to do and whatnot. So that's where we are at today. As far as me feeling, any different. I really don't, other than those 2 side effects I mentioned, and those are short-term side effects, I guess you could say. Like I said, it's about 6 or 7 days that my stomach starts to feel more normal. Energy wise, within that 6 to 7 day time frame after the round of chemo, I'm kind of just blah. I don't really, you know, I go for walks still, but I don't really want to do too much. It's just how I feel. But after that, I feel completely normal, to be honest. So, and like I said, my chemo rounds are every other week, so I have a week in between where I actually feel normal. So I try to get stuff done on the week that I feel fine. So it hasn't been too bad so far. Oh, I guess another thing that kind of is annoying as a side effect, besides the feeling dehydrated and the pit in my stomach, is the sensitivity of your senses, your smells, your taste. And I mentioned this before, I believe. That's really annoying because it's one of those things that if you smell something, it reminds me personally of getting chemo, and just makes me want to just like dry heave or like gag, kind of just like type of thing. And it's like a weird feeling slash taste in the back of your throat, and certain smells, certain tastes trigger that trigger. Anyway, but I try to like counter that with like eating or chewing on gum, or I have some lifesavers I suck on. And another thing to counter that as well, I've noticed that I'm like really enjoying spicy or hot foods. Like for me right now, my thing is like to counter that, and what I've been craving when I go through those times, even today, chips and salsa, like hot salsa. I'm craving like the tortilla chips with the hot salsa. I actually ate a full jug of hot salsa in 3 days by myself. I've just been eating it for like snacks and stuff and like with lunch. But it's funny, it's like, and then I'll have like or want like the hot and spicy like boneless buffalo wings. I think it helps. It just like, you know, that obviously hot foods, you know what it feels like in your mouth, but like obviously it counters that weird feeling and taste in your mouth. It just like makes it feel better. I don't know. I don't know if that's just me or if this is something normal, but that's another thing that's kind of annoying that I've tried to counter with certain things. But and that's, you know, in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty minor. You know, it could be worse. There's a lot of things that could be worse in my situation, or in cancer situation. I have to be fortunate, feel fortunate and lucky that it's not worse off. Of course, you know, this is round 4 of 12. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint, but we are a third of the way through. It's good, and I'm happy about that. And I'm kind of anxious and eager to find out the results from the PET scan tomorrow. So once I get those, hopefully I can get another picture like I did in one of my the last videos. Hopefully I get another picture I can show you guys. So that is the plan, and that's where I'm at today. Hopefully everyone out there is doing good. I don't know what family members have watched this. I think my mom has watched them, so hi Mom. Anyways, I will see you guys on the next video, and yeah, I think that's all I got. So all right guys, I'll see you on the next one, and until then, peace out.